tell Ashley, the picture's right, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, Archbishop of New York, and I talk in the pulpit at St. Patrick's Cathedral during the funeral services of Congressman Charlie Rankin. Because just to say me and him, that could be anywhere.
I'll change myself.
Talk in the pulpit at St. Patrick's Cathedral during the services, funeral services for the late Congressman Charles Rankin.
Yeah, I'm about to edit, continue to edit to the cardinal picture. He wants to make sure that it's known that he's at St. Patrick and that he's in the pulpit. So like, so,
I sent a caption, so make sure I just add focus.
oh, I see you sent it. Hold on. Seated today, St. Patrick. Yeah, but you know what I said. You remember what I said about the thing? You don't want to do the people mention in that photo with.
So he really doesn't want them to.
Nah, so you should do a standalone picture with just him and the cardinal.
Yeah, it is. That's first.
Okay, good. No, I mean like post itself.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and then yeah, you do everybody else. But when you do the him and the cardinal, just put that St. Patrick, of course, and that they're talking in the pulpit.
I just added it.
All right, cool.
I can delete those names if they're not.
The other people you can just put as a full picture. Just put him and cardinal as a separate post.
So you want two separate posts. Why can't I just start with the private picture?
Because that's I'm telling you, that's what I'm telling you that's what he wants. He does not want them in the picture with him and cardinal.
See, the biggest problem we have is that we don't put on post and our people.
Do his man walking. Ready? Do it. I'm telling you this is what you want. Let's do it. Don't think about it. She try to think like, no, I don't care. This is what he wants. Please. You're not sitting in front of him right now. I am. I am. And I'm telling him, I'm doing it the way he wants. The way he wants. He just go in and do it. But I don't want you to get upset. I'd rather edit the version of it.
Open line is New York. That's not us.
I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how it started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop, but he didn't forget about the brothers in the
Al Sharpton's views and opinions are his own and do not necessarily represent those of Radio 1 Incorporated, our affiliates, our subsidiaries, or our advertisers.
Sharpton, keeping it real.
Sun up, sun down, taking that cotton.
There were many that were enslaved that left the plantation, said I'm free, and were recaptured and re-enslaved because the laws said that. Without them signing the laws that we fought for, how should we have gotten free?
Sharpton keeps it real.
Because you're raising things that you haven't thought out. There were slave rebellions that did. All right, then give me the answer. You haven't answered me yet. If you thought it out, give me the answer.
Asking the tough questions.
Well, see, here's the thing. I call it a statement. Now you.
No, but I'm questioning your statement. You can question mine. You can question any statement I make. You can question any statement. Whoa. You can question any statement I make, but you cannot call here and tell me don't question the statement you make, brother.
Be a part of the conversation. Just keep it real. Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York, keeping it real. It's Exhale Friday. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
You ready, sir? You ready, sir?
It's Friday, June the 13th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real with Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And it is Exhale Friday. Every Friday, we let you call in or message in on our message board at live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and exhale on whatever is on your mind, whatever is in your heart. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797, or you can go to our live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And so much is happening. So much happened this week. President Trump sent out the National Guard and calling the Marines to be on standby in Los Angeles, California, around the demonstrations and protests around the deportation of people. And again, I emphasize, because I think a lot of people are conveniently leaving out that Trump promised to get rid of criminals. Now they're taking mothers from their kids, people that have been here for years paying taxes. And so when the protest started, they went ahead and just sent in the National Guard without the consulting and agreement of the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, or the mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass. We also see that yesterday, the senator, the U.S. senator from California, Alex Padilla, and you've seen him on my television show a few times, went to, he was in the building going to meet with the people around the deportation question, and found out that Norm was in the building holding a press advisory in her capacity as, being the one handling all of the internal security issues and etc. And he went to ask a question, and they body slammed him, handcuffed him, and dragged him out, Kristi Noem's direction. So this whole perception of a totalitarian, no nonsense, we in charge image is what they want. This is a U.S. senator now. This is not a protester. And they did this yesterday. Now, the mayor of of Los Angeles, California, has had a curfew from 8 p.m. till 6 a.m. the next morning. We're talking about a quarter of a mile block downtown. First of all of L.A. is not under siege. This is nothing like Rodney King, for you that are old enough to remember that, where people had burnings and looting all over the city. There's nothing like that. It's been mostly peaceful, and it has been contained. So we can talk about that. Then we are facing tomorrow is the military parade in Washington that's going to cost $45 million. $45 million. It also just happens to be President Trump's birthday. And I believe that that's what the real deal is. But people all over the country in National Action Network chapters involved are having marches against it called No Kings. We're not having a king here. No King demonstration. And we are definitely dealing with that. Then, of course, we've got the whole issue of this week. The president said 19 countries he's banning from being able to travel to the United States, including Haiti. And on Juneteenth, we're having the Haitian Day. A year later, where we went last Juneteenth talking about freedom and justice in Haiti, we're going to do it again this week on Juneteenth Day at the Christian Cultural Center in Brooklyn. 7 o'clock, I want you to meet me there. So a lot is going on, a lot you can exhale on, a lot you need to exhale on. I just left the funeral services of the late, great Congressman Charles Rangel. I was there on Thursday to receive his body along with Mayor Adams and I at City Hall, where he laid in state 2 days. On Wednesday. And then he laid in state 2 days, and then on this morning was his final funeral services at St. Patrick's Cathedral. He was a Catholic. And I went yesterday to Chicago. Plane that I arrived on, our team, was too late to make the luncheon I was supposed to speak for, but I ended up having a great meeting with the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, and Reverend Jesse Jackson. You that follow me on social media has seen that. I put up pictures in the mayor and all of us. And one of the reasons I wanted to meet with the mayor, and I was disappointed I missed the luncheon, but I wanted to meet with the mayor is because they have filed an inquiry, an investigation on the mayor of Chicago for saying that he was at a church forum at the Apostolic Church, Bishop Brazier, where I've preached. In fact, we spent a lot of time there during the Democratic National Convention last year. And he said a third of the city's employees is black, third Latino, third white. And they try to say that is a cause for a civil rights investigation. So I wanted to stand, and Reverend Jackson and I signed a letter to Trump protesting this. So that was part of the main reason I wanted to go to Chicago, is to make a record with the mayor and to release that. We were standing by Mayor Brandon Johnson. And you that have social media can go on our social media and see the statement that Reverend Jackson and I put out and the pictures of us with the mayor on yesterday. All right, so a lot to talk about. And don't forget, it is Black Music Month. And this week we asked you your favorite artist, your favorite songs, your favorite love songs. So you can do all, if you missed any of them, you can do it all today because it's Exhale Friday. What is your favorite artist, your favorite 3 artists in Black music history, favorite songs in Black music history, favorite love songs. I'm taking all of that at the end of the week for you that did not get through. Let me thank Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin and Dominique Sharpton for sitting in for me yesterday while I was traveling to and from Chicago. I went in, like I said, plane got in there late. That's why sometimes you have to go with charter flights. But I had to come right back to be at the Rango funeral this morning. All right, let's take a break. I'm opening up the phones. It's Exhale Friday. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart, 1-877-532-5797. Live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And already they're posting messages on live stream. OG Kelly is saying Trump is offering $1,000 in cryptocurrency for people to fill up the seats for his authoritarian military-style parade because no one has plans to attend. Is he doing that 1,000? I didn't see that. I'm glad you gave me that one, OJ. Tanya Stovall is saying, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton, and the chat group. And James Thomas is saying, all of this madness going on, what does Trump, he goes to the Kennedy Center and make a complete fool of himself. Yeah, that's about what he did, James. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real, Sharpton. Be right back.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute, impact, affect, but it's your life that you're central in. So stop trying to lay the weight of what you do or don't do on others. That weight is squarely on your shoulders and in your hand. If you want to defer and give your life choices to others, that's on you. If they have any sense at all, they will be so busy trying to conduct and properly guide their life, they will not have time to try to major in your life.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network for always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer. Dear God, we honor you and thank you for giving us great servant in Charles Brown. And as he lays here in City Hall, a city that he changed, a nation that he saved, let his family have comfort in knowing that few will go down in history that has done more for so many and did it sometimes against great odds, sometimes against great criticism, but he kept going anyhow. We ask you, Lord, to give them the peace of knowing that when he was not there with them physically, he always loved them individually. And that love they should continue to comfort them at this hour of loss and this hour of transition. And we know that he is now reunited with them, and that they are at peace, and that we should behave in a way that we make them proud. None of us would be where we are because of the Charlie Ray and Alma. We should never disgrace them. It is great that he lays here in state so that children can see. He had a great man and brought many of us into great things. Bless his family, give him peace. And let, after all the ceremonies are over, that we stay close with this family, even when the days of funeral and services are over, that they know that we owe them. They gave so much of God to us. These blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
You got to be the new thing. This is not about likes on Facebook. This is about changes in our society. We got a hostile bigot in the White House, and we don't need a popularity contest. We need people that are grounded and rooted in this and gonna fight with all they got. Jesus went up on the mountain and told his disciples. Reverend Toon said, y'all pray with me. They went to sleep. And when they looked up, they say that he had gone up on the mountain they termed transfiguration. Is that in the book? And he was talking to Moses and Elijah. If Jesus had to talk to those that preceded him, then how you so brilliant you ain't got to talk to nobody? So as we embark on dealing with this DEI fight, I wanted to read, I studied all week, what would Dr. King be saying? What would Reverend Jackson be saying? That's what we do. This ain't a Sharpton thing or whoever thing. This is a thing in continuity. If Dr. King can shut down the Montgomery bus boycott when we couldn't even ride the front of the bus, if Jesse Jackson could take on major corporations before we had cell phones, then we in our day can take these companies that want to say no DEI and shut them down.
And it is Exhale Friday. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart, you can call me at 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on our message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and you can send us a message at our live stream message board. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. Now, tomorrow, we're doing an abbreviated show Saturday because we're doing a lot of coverage of the marches around the country that Nan is involved in on No Kings. And, of course, the parade. MSNBC is going to be monitoring the parade, military parade of the president. So we have an abbreviated show. We have a full show on Sunday. And I'm going to have the members of Congress and Senate in on this bill. I'm going to have them on what they're going to do about Trump breaking the law on the deportation stuff. So watch both days. I just want to let you know, one will be abbreviated, but a full day. And it is Father's Day, and I definitely want everybody to watch Sunday's show, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. And you that are in the tri-state area, the Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, meet me at the Saturday Action Rally tomorrow. our Father's Day weekend rally. We're going to have some more of the candidates running for office. And it will be 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Meet me there. And, of course, you that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television. And it is Impact Television. I like to remind you, is the only black-owned national gospel cable network. Only one, owned by us. Well, everywhere I go, in the airport in Chicago yesterday and even late last night when I got back to New York, people said to me, I heard about the march on Wall Street. One said, I'm coming. The other said, now give me the detail. So that means that people are getting geared up, and you need to get geared up. And you need to be able to send your friends, relatives, family members, buddies, church buddies, sorority buddies, a message why we need to do this. Every Friday, today, I send out a new message that you can use. All I ask of you is to sign up. If you sign up and say, I want to be part of helping to get the word around, I will send you a message every Friday that you can use as talking points. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and sign up. And I believe we already have hundreds that have already signed, but I need thousands. And I know the march is August 28th, and you saying, well, we got over 2 months. No, we got to organize. We want huge numbers to go to Wall Street. Why? Because we want to put them on notice. This is where the corporate world makes their decisions. This is where the Dow Jones average is calculated and decided. This is where you see the ball drop. Wall Street, we want to be right outside there saying, hold up, y'all are not going to continue to enjoy our consumer dollars while we are being shafted by this administration. It's time to go to Wall Street. And it's on the anniversary of the March on Washington, which we do every year, but this year National Action Network is saying Wall Street is where we need to go. So go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and sign in. All right, let's go to the phones. It's XL Friday. A lot of callers and a lot of people give me messages. I'm coming to everybody. Let me start in Baltimore, Maryland with Alan. Alan, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yeah. How you doing, Reverend Al? You're a great man. We had to kind of band together. You know when Donald Trump was convicted of falsifying business transactions?
Right.
When he read the Constitution, he looked at it and falsified it and said, this is my document, because he's a convicted felon.
Right.
When he was charged and indicted with 34 counts of changing business records, Donald, I hope you're listening, that you got due process. And he's not even advocating the constitutional right of due process because he was in the trick bag. He beat the charge. Now he's just acting a fool. He's a narcissist. He's a Gemini. He called the service guys suckers and losers. And he dodged the military. He's supposed to have bone spurs, right? Bone spurs.
Right.
So, Donald Trump, you've been a loser all your life. Stop falsifying the Constitution because you're just a born loser. My birthday is June 19th. I think his birthday is June 14th. He has a kind of double personality. He'll kind of like, oh, I'm in trouble. But when he defeats you, he just act a fool, don't he? He just act a fool. You say you know his personality because you ran with him in the 90s?
Yep.
It's the hottest day of the year. I'm saying it's hot in Baltimore. It's probably like 100 in Las Vegas, probably 109. He just acting a fool. And this was said to do that to Padilla. What's the guy's name?
Padilla. Yeah, Padilla.
Alex Padilla. Alex Padilla. Vice President Kamala Harris, I was hoping that she would pitch him as her vice president, because Donald Trump going to California, he's trying to take out Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris, because he knows that Kamala is running for governor there. And I think Adam Schiff needs to stand up to Trump, because he was on that impeachment thing. President Obama needs to stand up since he was a president, and put Donald in his little timeout and say, stop falsifying the U.S. Constitution, and ISIS should be running behind him, because Donald Trump is a convicted felon. Happy Father's Day, Reverend.
Same to you, Alan. Have a great Father's Day.
Yeah.
And let me try to get one more up. I hear the music. All right, I'm coming to everybody after this break. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Dear God, we honor you and thank you for giving us great servant in Charles Brown. And as he lays here in City Hall, a city that he changed, a nation that he served, let his family have comfort in knowing that few will go down in history that has done more for so many and did it sometimes against great odds, sometimes against great criticism. He kept going anyhow. We ask you, Lord, to give them the peace of knowing that when he was not there with them physically, he always loved them individually. And that love they should continue to comfort them at this hour of loss and this hour of transition. And we know that he is now reunited with them, and that they are at peace, and that we should behave in a way that the victim cries. None of us would be where we are if it wasn't for Charlie Ray and Alvin. We should never disgrace them. It is great that he lays here and sleep so that children can see. We had a great man that brought many of us into great things. And let, after all the ceremonies are over, that we stay close with this family, even when the days of funeral and services are over, that they know that we owe them, because they gave so much of God to us. These blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. And we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go right back to the phone. Let me go to Chicago to my dear friend, the beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Rev.
Good afternoon.
Happy Father's Day to you, and thanks for all you do. I strained my eyes looking for you yesterday, so I finally told Maureen Forte, when he comes in, you come back and get me. So when she came and said, oh, he's not coming, my feathers fell, but I understand.
Yeah, but when I got in, you know that Kennedy Expressway is ridiculous. We sat there an hour and 15 minutes. So, and when I finally got near there, Yusef said that they were going on. So I said, all right, let me go to City Hall and see the mayor. And he said, well, let Reverend want to see you. So Reverend met me over there. So I spent the afternoon with the mayor and went right back to the airport.
Wonderful. Well, you know, I'm going to start out with my two favorite love songs, Peebo Bryson and Roberta Flack. Tonight I celebrate my love for you.
Wow.
And Whitney Houston. And Whitney Houston, I will always love you.
Wow, that's two great ones. Nobody gave them this week, though. Those are two great love songs.
True great love songs. And you know, Rev, I'd like to know, when is a law a law? Every time the judges rule chop appeal and there is a delay, it seems as though he's getting special treatment. I just can't figure this out.
Yeah, I think that is very suspect on the delay. And it would seem to me that the judges by now would be saying, wait a minute, is this a delay tactic? And because it's happened several times now.
Sure. And you know, this Christendom is a liar of the worst kind. She's like her boss. And how can people be of such low moral character? Rubio has sold himself to the devil. You remember when he debated with Trump talking about him? Now he's in the bed with him.
Yeah.
They say politics make strange bedfellows.
That's for sure.
And my mind, yes. And my mind stayed crowded all the time with all the nonsense that's going on. And there was no way in the world they should have done that senator like they did. And I do believe that some of those people that are out there apprehending people are from those January 6th insurrectionists. Now, I may be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. And thank you, Reb, and I hope that maybe you'll come to Chicago, and I'll see you next time, or either I'll have to come to New York.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'll be coming back through Chicago. We got some things we're going to do, but I wish I had been there to kick off whatever Yusef and them are doing. But thank you for your call. Miss seeing you, but I'll be through there. Let's go to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio. Demetrius.
Yeah, thank you, Reverend Sharpton. Good talking to you, and happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Same to you.
I'm not a father, but I appreciate it, though.
All right.
Yeah, I was talking concerning the treatment of the senator in California. You know, to me, that seemed like, I don't know if it's nationality, but it sounds like you have a Spanish last name.
Yeah, he is. He is Latino. Padilla is definitely Latino.
You know, I feel that was a disrespect of him because of his ancestry. Because if he was a Caucasian male, they wouldn't use such treatment on him. So I believe their attitude was, you know, we don't look at him no different than some of the immigrants that they're arresting.
Yeah, and for people that might have missed it, and I'm going to let you finish, Kristi Noem, who's the Secretary of Homeland Security, is out there in California holding a press conference on what they were doing about the migrants and all of this, bringing in the National Guard and talking about the Marines. Padilla was in the federal building where she was doing in Los Angeles. They're in Los Angeles now. And she found out she was going to another floor doing a press conference. He is the United States Senator for the state of California to the United States. He goes to the briefing, and he stands up and says, let me ask a question. And they went to affront him. They grabbed him, and he said, I'm a U.S. Senator. You see it on videotape. It was videotaped and released. They dragged him down out to the hall, put him on the ground. He yelled, I'm a U.S. Senator. I'm just asking a question, and handcuffed him. Kristi Noem comes out an hour later saying he never identified himself, and we the people rushed the stage. First of all, I've seen any number of people in situations rush the stage. You talk people down. You don't grab them and manhandle them and handcuff them. We've seen all these town hall meetings where these Republicans have had their own constituents come after them. They don't act like that. So there's definitely some, in my opinion, I agree with you on this, Demetrius, that there's some element of racial bias here. Because how have you got all these town hall meetings disrupted? We ain't never seen that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And to single him out for such treatment, you know, it becomes almost clear that it's based on a race. Because we've seen it, you know, in the African American community. the way we've been treated by the safety forces, and when it comes to getting fired from jobs. Other people be treated more respectfully when they stopped by the police, but when it comes to black people or other nationalities, Latinos, there's a whole different treatment toward them. And also when it comes to the National Guards in California, Donald Trump overstepped his authority, but now he wanted to give the state more authority when it comes to distributing the funds from the government. He respects state rights then, but he don't respect state rights when it comes to going against what he feels his policies when it comes to justice, for individuals. So that makes to me pretty evident. He really not for state rights with some of his backers. They for whatever that benefits them or whatever benefit their agenda. And when it comes to for Father's Day this weekend, I believe it's very important for us to recognize the fathers who looking out for their children the best they can, the good fathers, especially the black males out here who trying to do the right thing, and us as a people, we can't put all black men in the same category. What some of the stereotypes is out here, because a lot of the stereotypes being perpetuated, carried out in our own community. We look at some black men, just as second class as some of the races do. Passed down at us. We have to rejuvenate our minds. Because a lot of black men trying to do the right thing, but some people in our own community, they follow some of the prejudices, think, well, a black man can't do the job as good as anyone else, or he's not going to be a good father. He's not going to take his children go to the ball game and so forth. They already had these stereotypes were being instilled because of the races.
I think you're right, and I think I'm going to add that to today's questions: is how should we look at black fathers on Father's Day? What should we be doing Sunday? I'm going to ask people to weigh in since you brought that up, Demetrius, because you're absolutely right. Yes, we do have a problem in some cases of fathers abandoning their families. I'm a result of that. But we have many fathers, many more than they're given credit for, that do the right thing and never get credit. And we have people that step in, as I'm also a recipient of this, and become father figures to people that are not their children. What about them? So I think that there is a proper and appropriate way to celebrate Father's Day without just talking about the fathers that wasn't accountable. Let's celebrate that those that were accountable, stayed with their family, took care of their children, and those that took on other people's children and became a father figure. That is what really kept our community going. You raised an excellent point.
Yeah, that's true. I agree, because we have always had an extended family, and a lot of men step in. A woman may have children, but some men, they take on responsibility of those children. Look at the children as their own, So black men should be, commended for doing that. 'Cause a lot of men I know who do that, and even though they might not get recognition for taking on that extra responsibility.
Yeah, but we ought to give them recognition.
That's right. Yeah, ourselves, because a lot of things a black man do, he don't get no recognition for it. He don't get no respect for it, because society always had their mind made up. He's not be anything. Stereotype. Whatever black people do, it can never be good enough. And when it comes to the black male, because he is the male, he is a threat. Because the black male really reaches potential, he can really pull the family together. And we pull our family together, we can move up economically, educational wise. We'll be threat for those who hold the power. So in a way, these stereotypes put out there to keep our families apart intentionally. So we got to look behind the scenes, and see where this comes from, and open our minds and don't have a closed mind, of those who trying to do the right thing. And my song is love song is stylistic. Hurry Up Is Wait Again and Gloria by Champ.
I love them songs. James Thomas saying Love Song by Mandrill is his favorite. I gotta go with that, James. I love that. It says another one of my favorites. I'm still with James Thomas. He said another one of my favorite songs is called Time Comes a Change by Leroy Hudson. All right, you digging deep in there, James. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Dear God, we honor you and thank you for giving us great servant in Charles Brown. And as he lays here in City Hall, a city that he changed, a nation that he saved, let his family have comfort in knowing that few will go down in history that has done more for so many and did it sometimes against great odds, sometimes against great criticism, but he kept going anyhow. We ask you, Lord, to give them the peace of knowing that when he was not there with them physically, he always loved them individually, and that love they should continue to comfort them at this hour of loss and this hour of transition. And we know that he is now reunited with Alpha, and that they are at peace, and that we should behave in a way that we make them proud. None of us would be where we are if it wasn't for Charlie Ray and Alpha. We should never disgrace them. It is great that he lays here in state so that children can see. We had a great man, and for many of us going to great things. And let, after all the ceremonies are over, that we stay close with this family, even when the days of funeral and services are over, that they know that we owe them, because they gave so much of God to us. With blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down.
and they were not going to impose themselves on you. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I help formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. Stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute, impact, affect, but it's your life that you're central in. So stop trying to lay the weight of what you do or don't do on others. That weight is squarely on your shoulders and in your hand. And if you want to defer and give your life choices to others, that's on you. If they have any sense at all, they will be so busy trying to conduct and properly guide their life, they will not have time to try to major in your life. That's when Haile Selassie, the Emperor of Ethiopia, came to me, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., who was pastor here at Ethiopian Coptic Cross. That was my first year on civil rights and politics.
As I know here, you're in trouble, where it says about 30% are unemployed. That's why I'm working hard to get this surplus food here. Some of you say to me, well, I'm not like you. I'm not a congressman. I haven't got education. I haven't got work. But you're a human being. And you know what you've got? You've got in your hand the power to use your vote and to use even those few cents you get from welfare to spend them only where you want to spend them.
I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. It is Exhale Friday. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart, and of course it is Black Music Month. And this week, since it's the end of the week, I'll let you give your Black Music Month contribution by saying your favorite artists in Black music, your favorite songs, and your favorite love songs. One of the three. We did them all this week. If you didn't get through to give your opinion, you could do so today. And, of course, all of the issues of today. Let me go with phones are jammed, and I'm getting a lot on the message pad, on the message board on our live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. Living on the Rock Ministry says, when will you be advocating in West Coast? Blessings. Well, I've been on the West Coast issue all week. I did Morning Joe. I did my show last Saturday and Sunday on it. And we have an office there in Los Angeles, Reverend Jonathan Mosley and Al Shakur. I am on standby waiting on them to tell me when they feel is the appropriate time for me to come. But they're out there every day, National Action Network Los Angeles, supporting the migrants and supporting those that are standing up on this particular issue. But I personally intend to be out there when they say come. I'll be there in 24 hours. I've always, try not to supersede our chapters. I don't want to overrun our chapters. I go when they feel I should come. And second, I do not want to exacerbate what's going on. I want to help. Certainly if the victims want us, that's a whole nother story. If the victims ask me to come, I would be there tomorrow. Let's go to the mayor. Mayor of Queensbridge Houses, Queens, New York, Mayor Rodney Jones. You're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, thank you, my shepherd. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Oh man, XO Friday. I was watching the mass at St. Patrick's.
Yeah.
They do their masses. Especially for the military. He was a soldier. You know what I'm saying? He is a decorated soldier too. So they gave him that homegoing, man. Awesome. You know what I'm saying?
He's talking about the homecoming of Congressman Charles Rangel for you that don't.
Charles Rangel, yes, sir. And oh man, but listen, I want to talk about this thing. I was active duty military. I took the oath October 18, 1981, Fort Hamilton, New York, to defend the foreign and domestic. But this thing has got crazy, right? So people forget about Kent State. People forget about May 4th, 1970, Kent State. These National Guardsmen killed people on a campus. On a camp, I was 6 years old when this happened. People forget about Kent State. Like this stuff shouldn't be happening. Active duty personnel shouldn't be on. No, we shouldn't be out here doing this stuff. All the stuff that's going on in the world. This dude is abusing the power of his office. The power of his office as commander in chief. That the worst we call him. The civilians call him president. We call him. He's abusing his power as the president in his office, and this is a disgrace. Everybody that's not old enough to remember, Google Kent State. They call it the Kent State Massacre, May 4th, 1970. A disgrace. But Rev, I just want to shout out you. I'll see you in the morning, but happy Father's Day to you and all the fathers, national fathers, everybody listening, watching. My 3 songs Father's Day songs for the Black History Music Month. You know the greatest one forever. Papa Don't Take No Mess. Papa Don't Take No Mess. Papa Don't Take No Mess. Huh? And then, yes, sir. My papa used to play that when I was growing up. JB was he used to play it on the hi-fi rev.
Yeah.
But listen. Yes, sir. Color Me Father by the Winston. All right? And Dance with My Father, Luther Vandross. I have Unforgettable on there, too.
That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, I got Unforgettable on there with Natalie and Nat King Cole. But, man, Rev, listen, I'm going to see you in the morning.
All right.
You know how you always do for us on Father's Day? May God continue to bless you. Because you listen, I lost my father in 1980, right? And it's like, that was a big loss for me. I went buck wild. I started acting out. And my mom, a year later, sent me to the military. She signed me up. Because at 17, you can sign me up in the military. And the next man I ever met in my life, 1989, was you.
Wow.
The next great man in my life. And I always hold you in the highest regard, Rev.
Wow, that's
May
touching.
God continue to bless you.
That's
I'll
touching.
see you in the morning, okay?
All right, I'll be looking for you. Thank you so much. Wow. Mayor Rodney Jones, and I think about when he said he met me, I think about how my father left when I was 10. But I had Bishop Washington, and then later James Brown became like fathers to me. And in the movement, Reverend Jackson, who when I met Jesse Jackson, he was about 26, 27. I was 13 and half his age. So I had father figures, and I salute them. That's one of the reasons why I was glad to see him pending Father's Day. I can't go see James Brown. He's gone, but I will always call his name. Let's go to Will in Cleveland, Ohio. Will, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
I had they're talking about this parade for the soldiers and everything, and they're talking about how much it costs. I said, well, Donald Trump said he made $1 billion in Bitcoin. He's always talking about how much money that he only paid for his own his own birthday party.
I like that, Will.
You know, and save the taxpayers the money.
I like that.
You know, he got people that he called bankruptcy on. Hey, why don't you pay some of these people? You know, if you're true American. But the other thing is about being patriotic. I was saying, man, he's got 3 sons, and none of them joined the military.
Right.
Don Jr. likes to hunt. He likes to hunt. I heard he went a couple places and killed some animals that was on the endangered list and all this. Why didn't he join the military? You know, but none of them. That shows it wasn't in the house. You see what I'm saying? None of them thought about joining the military to protect America.
Right.
And the other thing was they let him off the hook a lot. I remember when the first term, they had one of those things where they roast the president and all this, and Donald Trump didn't attend it. He said instead he was going to hold a fundraiser for the soldiers and stuff. So he didn't come because he didn't want people making jokes about him. So he held his fundraiser, and I think he raised a couple $1 million or something. And after it was over, he didn't even give the soldiers the money. They had to question him about, hey, where's the money from the fundraiser?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
A week later, he wrote the check and stuff. He was gonna try to take the money that he supposedly raised for the soldiers. So he got no respect for the military. And I was like, people not to forget, don't forget that, man. He really doesn't care. Like the other caller said, he's a draft dodger. You know what I mean? So the guy, he's, man, I don't know. They just believe these lies he tells, and he's a grifter, and the whole deal, man. But he definitely doesn't care about the Army. But he'll send your kids in the harm's way, but not his.
Right.
And that was basically my thought.
All right, Will. Thank you, and happy Father's Day to you. Let's go to Jerry in Cleveland, Ohio. WERE. Jerry.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
And happy Father's Day.
Thank you, sir.
First, I'll give my 3 songs. I was always in love with Phyllis Hyman, when she was alive and Living All Alone.
I knew Phyllis Hyman. Great artist.
Oh, you You knew her?
Yeah, she lived right near where I used to go downtown to take care of a lot of business. I was a kid, and she lived right on 7th Avenue now and 56th Street. That's where they claim she committed suicide. But Phyllis was a great person, had troubles, but a great artist, a really great artist. I knew I was in my teens.
Oh, I loved her music. Two others, Beautiful Brother of Mine by Curtis Mayfield.
Okay.
I just love Curtis Mayfield's music. And there's another one by the Temptations. And I found most people don't even know about a song called Man. I don't know if you've heard that song
No,
before.
It's called Man, M-A-N?
Right. It's very short. If you get a chance on your break, just listen to what they say.
All right, I'm going to do that.
I want to make a comment on they have this thing out like black men don't take care of their children. And if I'm not mistaken, there was statistics that came out that found that more black men take care of their children, whether they're with the mother or not, than white men. But I'll give you an example of how the media is. Before I adopted my girls, I did foster care. And they gave a big banquet for foster parents. And it was Fox News that was out there. Now, I would say 90 to 95% of the...
Wait a minute, I want to hear this. Let me take my break. I'll come right back to you. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. XL Friday.
country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God doesn't smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say this song. I'll say God has smiled on me. good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 come smile on me. Now then the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smile on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on we need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Lord, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me sing here. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
You got to be the New thing. This is not about likes on Facebook. This is about changes in our society. We got a hostile bigot in the White House, and we don't need a popularity contest. We need people that are grounded and rooted in this and gonna fight with all they got. Jesus went up on the mountain and told his disciples. Reverend Toon says, y'all pray with me. They went to sleep. And when they looked up, they say that he had gone up on the mountain.
Right back to Jerry on this Father's Day weekend. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, I was commenting to show you how the media is. I was at a banquet, and it was held for foster parents. Mm-hmm. At that time, I was a foster parent. And I would say 90 to 95% of the people in there were black. And, I mean, everything was nice. It was in this grand ballroom. And I believe it was Fox News came in there. I'll never forget this. They squeezed in and out among the people till they got to the center of the place, and there was a white couple, and that's who they interviewed. And, you know, they ignored all the black people, but they wanted to interview the white people that were there. And that's why I say there's so many stereotypes out there. And the media, just like what they were saying happened in Los Angeles, you and maybe a few others pushed back on how bad it was.
Right.
But the media, basically, they just say what happened, what Trump says. They don't push back and give the facts that it was what? It was only about 4 or 5 blocks.
Yeah, 4 or 5 blocks. No deaths. I mean, people died in Watts in 65 when I was 10, and people died in the riots around Rodney King. There's been no deaths. And they body slamming and handcuffing U.S. senators. This is amazingly inaccurate reporting and information given to the public.
And I'm thinking that maybe what needs to be done is maybe, I'll say, progressive people need to come out more criticizing the media.
Right.
We criticize Trump and them, but what Trump did was he shamed the media. And so I think that made it so the media would set such a low bar for Trump and them that he could do so much wrong and people won't criticize it. I listen to people talking about how some of the Democratic Congress people will call somebody a name, but I never heard one of them call people SOBs. I never heard them call people, women bees or anything like this. But the media will bring it out.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, I've heard his speech slur. He sounds stupid. Didn't he change a meteorological map at one time, saying that there was a hurricane headed for Florida?
Oh, yeah. He announced the wrong hurricane. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but they'll say things about him once, and then they won't say things about him again. And I have a question I want to ask you. I think what the how people of the House were trying to do were trying to make it so that Donald Trump couldn't be held in contempt for some of the things he's doing, and that was put into the bill. And I believe one of the it was a congresswoman, I believe it was. She said that when it goes to the Senate, that I think there's something called the Byrd Rule, and I'm hoping you can explain this to me. The Byrd Rule.
The Byrd Rule. Oh, talking about Robert Byrd. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So if it's not concerning policy, it's stuff that the Senate will just throw out. But my question is, number one, I want to get a better explanation, maybe if you can or somebody can, about the bird rule? And number two, if that's the case, then why did they put it in there in the first place?
Two good questions. I can't answer either one of them, but you're right. And I must say, they had no business put them in there in the first place. So they either wrong then or wrong now. All right, Anita Bracey saying on our message pad, Happy Father's Day to all the fathers and father figures. Thank you, Anita Bracey. Bernadette Peter says good afternoon. And let's go back to the phones. Let me go to my friend in Chevy Chase, Maryland, Miss Richardson. Miss Richardson, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Well, good afternoon, young man.
Good afternoon.
You know, Rev, since time immemorial, now you know this too, that they've always enslaved our people from, I saw something on PBS the other night talking about the Roman Empire and the 5th century. The 5th century. That's probably only 400 and some years after the death of blacks. Blacks called Jesus their own. So I'm only going by how blacks see the Bible, and I think it was only 400 and some years that the Jesus that people, how they take that like that was put to death. So we're talking about way back, thousands of years ago, and the 5th century. The 5th century means only like 400 or 500 years into the whole history book where they started recording time like that, recording the the Roman numerals and the beginning of because we go way back before that, but the recorded history is where they after the Jesus was supposed to have put to death. So the 5th century is going way back, and they were talking about at the time there were blacks still enslaved at that time. So I'm saying it seems like it was meant to be or something, or whatever the creator had in mind, because none of us know the true creator. We think we do, but we don't. And if you get stuck on thinking you absolutely know who the true spirit is, you're mixed up, because I don't know. And if we all knew, it would be a better place, but we don't know. And so whoever sits in that supreme gambit of things, if I can say it that. Oh, could I hold on and I want to finish it up?
Yeah, quickly. I got a lot of calls. Let's take a break. We'll quickly go back to her and finish the board. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
This understanding of building upon the foundation left by previous generations. But I think you've mastered that, Rev. You've mastered building upon it, but also getting the current generation to understand the importance of when you accept a baton, to whom much is given, much is not only required, but much is expected.
And you do it yourself. That's why most of the people on our national staff here at National Action Network is under 40 years old. You just turned 41. Most of them. Because I believe in trying to nurture and give young people a chance, because that's what you should do. And they're going to make mistakes. I made them. But then, at the same time, they got to respect those that went ahead to lay the path that they walking down. Otherwise, don't nobody, I said one Saturday morning at Raleigh, don't nobody urinate or piss on the tree roots but a stray dog. Because your roots is what is permanent. Your branches go with the seasons. Your leaves go with the season. The roots don't change. You judge the tree by the roots, not by the branches. We're all branches from trees that were grounded, planted, and rooted. And I'm a branch of the tree of the movement that I come out of. Somebody else, another movement. But how am I going to all them guys ahead of me to know what they was doing? Well, I'm a branch on their tree.
My life comes from the root.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Did you hear about what happened in Minneapolis? I said I saw it on television. It was in the middle of a pandemic. We were all locked down, couldn't go anywhere. And just watched the news over and over again. And he said the family would like to speak with him. He connected Philonis Floyd and one of George's brothers carrying on with Keepin and other members, all of the families, many of the families. And he said they'd like you to go to Minneapolis and protest what happened and also say that we are not a family that condone violence, but some people were burning stuff down. In the middle of a pandemic, it's important that you know that people from all over, Black America, white America, all people came together to stand with this family. But I promised them that we would be there to the end. 5 years later, some people are missing, but I had to be here. And I'll be here as long as it takes to be here. This week, we saw some change over the years. We did not get the George Floyd justice bill, but we got consent decree in Minneapolis, where he was killed, and in Louisville, Kentucky, where Breonna Taylor was killed. This week, the Department of Justice under Donald Trump said they were going to end this consent decree, which is tantamount to the Department of Justice and the President spitting on the grave. To wait to the anniversary and announce this, knowing this family was going to be brought back to the brokenheartedness of what happened, shows the disregard and insensitivity. No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We gonna shine and shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer.
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Let's go back to Mrs. Richardson. Mrs. Richardson. Hello?
Uh-oh, look like we lost her. We lost her.
We lost Miss Richardson? All right, let's go to Churro. Is that Churro? Churro in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. The songs I would like to pick, the first one would be Michael Jackson. I'm starting with The Man in the Mirror.
Huh.
I don't know if Michael was, yeah. I don't know if you would call him talented, blessed, gifted, or all of the above, but I'm starting with The Man in the Mirror.
No, I think he was all of the above, and you know, I knew Michael very well. He was very gifted, very talented, and it just was natural to him.
Exactly. And then my second will be the Gerald and Eddie LeVert. Just as people recommend a movie or a book, I would say if you haven't listened to the song Wind Beneath My Wings, I suggest you listen to that because it's a love story between a father and son or a mother and daughter or anybody that you hold dear. And especially in this climate that we're living in right now, that's what we need. We need more role models. And my last one is the Clark sisters. Is my living in vain for the obvious reason. So I just wanted to say that. And I wanted to add one more thing to it, and I'll make it quick.
Go ahead.
The first gift I remember, the first and my favorite gift I remember my dad giving me was a radio. It was a Zenith. And I guess he just knew that I love music. So I just wanted to say that. Happy Father's Day to you anyway.
Thank you.
Always. You're and I love you. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your call. All right, y'all can cut they throw me off with the music under me. Let's go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira.
I just wanted to share some information with you last week about the people from Google's this thing called Economic Times, an article proving that they tampered with the computers in the building. They came in and said it was coming to tweak them, and they ended up changing them. Nobody knew that. Then the people that did it, they disappeared. They can't no track record of nothing. So it was some dishonesty going on, and the item that they had on Google. Google
Now wait a minute. They had what now? Who was the source of this?
Well, this was on a radio internet program that I was watching, and they were saying that to get this information thoroughly and clearly, Google Economic Times for the article proving that the election computers were violated, and they expressed to them that someone came in on the premise of technically just tuning these particular things before the election. They came in and changed them, and nobody knew that. And the people that did it, and they hired them, they can't find no track or trace. It's a complete article. You have to go in and check it, and you'll see that there is some more trickery that went on. It's not Elon Musk like everybody thought, in the sense to say he may have done it, but it's not Elon Musk. It's somebody outside that source, and they went in and did this trickery. Nobody detected because they went and changed stuff, and people said they went in and voted, and went to check back with their records. They said no sign of them showing that they voted. So just need to check that article out and see. You know, it's more to it than that. It's not Elon. Everybody blaming Elon for the computer stuff. It's not him. It's somebody outside the source. Everybody knew about it, but now they can't trace back to nobody.
All right.
So that's my.
All right, thank you for your call. All right, let's go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio. Ray.
Yes, sir. My man, Rev. Rev, let me exhale a little bit. First of all, it was disgusting what I saw earlier in the week where when Trump was at, and it wasn't a rally, but it felt rally-like, when he had those Army people, they were cheering as if, you know, they were just civilians. It was disgusting. And I thought the military are supposed to be nonpartisan. And then I'm watching Nicole Wallace's her show, and they blasted those Army reserves or military men for actually clapping and going along, saying USA, USA. But let me ask you this.
And I understand. I saw some reports, and I'm going to check it with Nicole today. I'm doing her show at 5 o'clock. And I saw some reports that they actually screened the servicemen that were going to be up front around Trump to make sure they were positive and pro-Trump, which in and of itself is political and not being objective if you're doing an audience of enlisted military people.
Yeah, it was almost like if Trump had asked them to do an unlawful act, they would have. And I asked the ex-service Marine, if are they allowed to do unlawful acts, and he said no. But it looks like those military men behind Trump would have done anything he said, Red. But let me say this: whether you're a Republican or Democrat, the immigration policy, they want you out. And I hope the immigrants, the ones that vote, the ones that's working, they're after you too. And so, I hope they realize that people are marching for them. They are protesting for them. They are going to jail. They're being body slammed. They're speaking out for you. And for the ones that think that Trump cares about you, it's you better not vote for, and Trump can't run again, but in the midterms, you better come out strong as you came out for Trump in the presidential race. You better come out strong for the Democrats in the midterm. Because they are after you.
All right, thank you for your call. Let me go to Atlanta, Georgia, to James. James, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, Reverend Sharpton. Happy Father's Day, sir.
Same to you, James.
Reverend Sharpton, I'd just like to give a couple other suggestions of how this parade could be paid for. For the inauguration events, the current occupant of the Oval Office raised approximately $240 million, almost 5 times more than any other U.S. president. And it costs approximately, I think, $25 to $50 million to put together the inauguration events, and of course adjusted for inflation over the years. But there's a company that has been handling the inauguration events dating all the way back to Harry Truman days. But he raised $240 million. So what has happened to all that money? Some of that money could be used to fund this parade.
That's a very good point, because they netted out, crazy money. So where's that money at? You're right.
Yeah. And then the second option is a man who he pardoned a couple of weeks ago, man out of Florida, who was convicted of Medicare fraud, and he was given a 50-year sentence. He submitted approximately $200 million in invoices to Medicare. He got paid out on $87 million before they shut him down. He was given a 50-year sentence. The judge ordered him to pay the money, $87 million back, and Trump pardoned him and put in the order that he does not have to pay restitution, no fees, and no fines. So why not get that man to pay some of that fee, the cost of this parade? Talking about waste, fraud, and abuse. $87 million.
Wow. Yeah. You got some
other options,
You got some great suggestions. I got to give it to you. Thank you for your call.
All right, thanks, sir.
All right, 1-877-532-5797. Let me go back to my message board. Sister Charlotte Flowers is saying, amen, God's blessings, and praying and appreciate our Heavenly Father and the late and the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton, and all fathers have a blessed Father's Day in all ways. I appreciate that from you, Sister Flowers. O.G. Kelly saying he's not lying because when attending my children's parent-teacher meeting, those white women were so shocked to see me. I guess he's referring to one of the callers. Let's go up. Let me see scroll up a little bit. And yeah, got a lot of calls I haven't gone to. All right, good. Let's go. Good afternoon, Reverend Al Sharpton from Milwaukee, Florida. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. This is from Evangelist. I can't read it. You got it too small. From Evangelist Shirley. Yeah. I am trying to get it up right on the screen. Evangelist Shirley Tribble. Carter Tribble. All right. Thank you for that, Evangelist. I was trying to get some of the older messages that I hadn't read because I want people to feel they can come either way by message or call-ins. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And I think that Father's Day weekend is always a time for us to reflect on the good men in our community. I think it's so important, as some of the callers said. In fact, we should have some of you call out men in the community that have been good fathers. Fathers of their own children that you've observed, or fathers of children that weren't theirs, but they were good fathers anyhow. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. More of you on the phone. It's Exhale Friday on this Father's Day weekend. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Yeah, put it up where it is.
Dear God, we honor you and thank you for giving us great servant in Charles Brown. And as he lays here in City Hall, a city that he changed, a nation that he saved, let his family have comfort in knowing that few will go down in history that has done more for so many and did it sometimes against great odds, sometimes against great criticism, and he kept going anyhow. We ask you, Lord, to give them the peace of knowing that when he was not there with them physically, he always loved them individually, and that love they should continue to comfort them at this this hour of loss and this hour of transition. And we know that he is now reunited with Alma, and that they are at peace, and that we should behave in a way that we make them proud. None of us would be where we are if it wasn't for Charlie Ray and Alma. We should never disgrace them. It is great that he lays here in state so that children can see. We had a great man that brought many of us into great things. Bless the family. And let, after all the ceremonies are over, that we stay close with this family, even when the days of funeral and services are over. That they know that we owe them, because they gave so much of God to us. These blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
if you understand what faith is. You know, I'm a minister. Faith in the Bible is faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things unseen. If you could figure it out, if you have a guaranteed result, if you have a planned strategic course that won't fail, that's not faith. Faith is when you can't figure it out, but you know it's right, and you're going to do it anyhow. Even if you risk losing, even if you risk ridicule, that's faith. And that is what has been the basis of my activism, is faith. That I believe if you do what's right, it will end up right. So, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. My mother was from Dothan, Alabama. Father was from somewhere near Daytona Beach, Florida. Wabassin, I think was the name of the town. They grew up in rigid segregation. They couldn't vote, had to sit in the back of the bus. They came north as part of the migration, thinking they'd find a better way up north. They didn't know each other, of course, met in New York, got married, had 2 kids. I was the youngest kid. Their youngest son lived
Reverend Al Sharpton is Exhale Friday, and we've been talking about, obviously,
Father's Day, tributes to fathers. It is also Black Music Month, and we've been talking about your favorite artists, favorite songs, favorite love songs, and, of course, all of the events of the week. Trump planning this military parade tomorrow to the tune of $45 million while he's trying to pass his big, beautiful bill, as he calls it. And, I mean, let me get this right now. You don't have money to sustain Medicaid. You don't have money to sustain SNAP. So you got to cut into people's Medicaid funds, cut into SNAP, maybe cut into Social Security. But you have money to cut the tax rate to rich people. And you have money to spend a minimum of $45 million for a military parade on your birthday in Washington. And it's going to be millions more to repair the streets after those tanks run through tomorrow. So I don't care whether you are Republican or Democrat. I don't see how you can't see that is derelict of duty and irresponsible. All right, let me bring in our co-host that we end the week with every week. He is the senior pastor of the King Solomon Baptist Church the historic King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan, head of the national expansion as well as the Michigan State Chair of National Action Network, the Reverend Charles Williams II. How you doing, Reverend?
All is well, all is well. Rev, you hit it right on the nose. I mean, this is why I think that our demonstration is so important. This is why our work is so important. The National Action Network. We've got money to do everything but the main thing, which is to continue to make sure that we are reinvesting back into the American people. We are reinvesting back into our communities, and we're providing access and opportunity. But yet we are cutting off DEI. Yet we're going around rounding up people who we made a promise to allow to be here in this country legally, I might add. We're going through a time where we're now seeing military police like we've never seen before. But those who remember Kent State and those who remember what happened in North Carolina understand very clearly that we are entering into a space and a place where we will not see the best of this country. And so I suggest that there's only one way that we continue forward, and that's by organizing. That's by making sure we're setting up chapters across this country of folks who are ready to do the work for the common good, ready to continue lifting up in a very nonviolent way. You know, across the country, there are people who will be protesting tomorrow
Yeah.
And I understand very clearly that as they protest, we hope and pray that as we continue to do what we do, that we lead the example of what nonviolent protest looks like. Because that's truly how we get the attention of not just this country, but the world when we stand and we allow our voices to be heard. So I ask folks to join us as we do the same on August the 28th in New York as we march down Wall Street, sending a powerful message, not just to politicians, but to those who are of economic control. August the 28th, Wall Street March. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and join us.
All right. Let's go to the phone. I think we got Miss Richardson back. She wanted to finish her comments. Let's go right back to her quickly. Miss Richardson.
Am I there? Oh, yes, thank you. Okay, I hope you can hear me now, Rev. Yeah, I wanted to get you and Reverend Williams' opinion about, I'm kind of, what happened to programs when we even had our Democratic Party working, and they did, I thought it was a program called Work Fair. Why did that end, and why did it not work? Because I see nothing but black men on these streets day in, day out. My daughter and I, we have the business in Washington. They're roaming the streets. A lot of them are, they're not well. They're sick in their brains. And I hate to say it, it's our people, but where are these men working? Because we had a program called Work Fair, and why isn't Trump doing something like that to get men mobile? We're losing mobility with black men, gentlemen. I just wanted to bring my opinion. I'm not.
All right, now I'm not familiar with Work Fair. I knew Manpower. I knew Model Cities. I know Workforce. But you're correct. There is no funded federal program that is dealing with the needs of black men. And Trump talked all about what he would do with black men, and he hasn't done it. And
he hasn't done it.
And no, he has not done it. And I think that
yeah. See,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just feel in ending, gentlemen, you and Reverend are so great. I love listening to both of you. You're wonderful. But I don't mean to stir a lot of, everything. It seems like I'm always causing controversy. But I have to get it out. I'm an independent. I don't think along either line. And I'm just trying to express my own feeling that they need to have programs like Reverend just said, Power, the one called Power for Black Men. And Trump isn't doing anything. He wants to see black people destroyed. And as soon as we get him out of there, and when Wall Street comes, I hope the best for the strongest black men to be participants. Because it hurts my heart to see our black men failing and throwing up their hands and just doing this drugs and selling that stuff to make money. They can have a better life, Reverend, is all I'm saying. If they would just have, they just give up. A lot of black men give up.
All right. Thank you for your call. Let's go back to the phone. Let's go to Denise in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Denise?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, Rev Al, I just want to give you reverence to the other minister. And like I was saying, I want to start with something that happened when George Floyd died concerning you, Rev. Then I'm going to go back to my comment. When he had passed away, the Lord had given me to put together something for the black race in regards to poetry. And it was simply because you were on commercial here consistently in Milwaukee, talking about, they have put their knee on our neck for 400 years. And then I had started doing some research, which I knew some of the things that had occurred in Egypt. And the Lord has given me some black poetry, all because of that statement that you made. I got one more poetry to write in this particular book. It's just about completing. That's tonight. I'm going to put it in. Finish it up. I want you to know that. And as well, I was stating how, I do some fasting as the Lord leads me. So in November of last year, I had fasted for 31 days. And so anyway, after the fast, the next month, the Lord had visited me. And I want y'all to listen to me because this is some serious stuff. This ain't no joke. This ain't no playing around or faking or pretending or anything like that. So anyway, the Lord has shown me in a vision that Donald Trump showed me his forearm on the red button. And the Lord told me, said, his forearm and his hand or whatever, you get it right. And so anyway, the Lord told me it was coming soon. Tell the people to get ready. He said time is running out. And then he also stated, I went on another fast, and this is in March of this year. And then the Lord spoke to me again. And the angel of the Lord came. I was asleep, and the angel woke me up and let me know that Trump is the Antichrist and that we are going to go into a war. And I'm telling you, this is some serious stuff. And the Lord said, tell the people to get themselves prepared with food and water and getting places that they can, be protected in. And also that there were going to be people that were going to be taken captive. And also yesterday in my morning prayer, the Lord told me who it was going to be. We were going to go into war with Russia first and then China. And every time God give me something real, because I'm seeking him for real, for this purpose, so that he will let me know what to tell his people and how we're going to have to come together. That was another statement. He said, tell the black people they're going to have to come together. So, and also Trump is going to serve another term because he's going to start this war. So you know how that goes. When they get into a war, there is no voting that will go on. So yeah, he's going to do something just
well, if he enters a war, and I don't doubt it, and thank you for your call. I don't doubt that he will try to do that. I don't question people's prophecies. We will certainly see if they come into being. But don't let anybody tell you they can't vote during the war. They voted during World War I, II, Korean War, Vietnam War. You can vote during the war. But thank you for your call. Let's go to Norm in Tampa, Florida. Norm, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton and Reverend Charles Williams.
I'm right down here holding down being held in Sandusburg, as I said before. Yes, Reverend, I remember when I was 16, I grew up in Detroit. I've been telling people about this. And we experienced federal occupation, 1967, when Lyndon Johnson, when there was a riot in Detroit, and Governor Romney and the Mayor Joan P. Kavanaugh, John Conyers, all thought there was a need for federal troops in Detroit because of a raid that the Detroit police caused. They called it a blind pig on 2 Vietnam veterans that had come home, guys that come home from Vietnam, and a riot broke out. And the feds came in and they brought the Army, the 82nd Airborne, 101st Airborne, and showed up where they came rolling with their tanks, their armored cars, helicopter formations, Huey helicopters, Chinook helicopters, the double-blade helicopters and stuff like that. And thousands, hundreds of people got shot. And people were killed after this and stuff. So, but they did it under the permission of the governor. They acted on Johnson acted on the permission of both the governor, in consultation with the governor, Romney, and, like I said, Jerome P. Kavanaugh and Conyers and all the congressional district at that time. And so this thing, and it's the whole city. And the thing I distinctly remember was these deuce-and-a-quarter trucks and soldiers on them stopping people in the street, coming down in formation. That was the first time I saw a BAR rifle, an M16 rifle, and so it was black and stuff. And but again, this was done in permission. In California, 2 blocks, this is way over the top. And without consultation of any of the congressional people, without consultation with any of the people, with the governor, anything, just put it in there, just overreach. We are at, all I can describe is that we're at 0 hour. And that is from the book, St. Clair Lewis's book, It Can't Happen Here. It is happening here. When you read that book, and I've talked about this before, it mimics what is happening now. In fact, there's a character named Lee Larson, and he is just like your guy Stephen, the guy Stephen Miller. Same thing, the same scenario. M&Ms are ICE. These detention centers are concentration camps to take over. You call that the subjugate, trying to subjugate Harvard. And the book Can't Happen Here. They took over Dartmouth. They closed up all the black universities. This is what's happening now. We are here at the 0 hour, Reverend, and a suspension of the Constitution of congressional and Supreme Court authority. We are here, Reverend. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for your call. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton Williams. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
and I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down. Dear God, we honor you and thank you for giving us great servant in Charles Brown. And as he lays here in City Hall, a city that he changed, a nation that he saved, let his family have comfort in knowing that few will go down in history that has done more for so many and did it sometimes against great odds, sometimes against great criticism, but he kept going anyhow. We ask you, Lord, to give them the peace of knowing that when he was not there with them physically, he always loved them individually, and that love they should continue to comfort them at this hour of loss and this hour of transition. And we know that he is now reunited with now, and that they are at peace, and that we should behave in a way that will make them proud. None of us would be where we are if it wasn't for Charlie Ray and Alma. We should never disgrace them. It is great that he lays here in state so that children can see. We had a great man, and for many of us, into great things. And let, after all the ceremonies are over, that we stay close with this family, even when the days of funeral and services are over, that they know that we owe them, because they gave so much of God to us. With blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams II is our co-host. Let's go to Anita in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Anita.
Hi, Reverend Al.
Hi.
To your co-host and to all your audience. Well, let's look at Trump Islamically. And I think I understand this to be in the Bible. You can't put up gods in competition with God. It's one God, okay? And that is supposed to be a sin that's not forgivable, is to say that, you're equal to God. God he's very jealous God. He don't play that. Okay, so Trump he's really messing on his own dangerous territory. God's going to take care of him. And Elijah Muhammad has already told white males what you did, kidnapping, and the brutal torture of us to take care of you is not acceptable. And black men are going to take care of their own families, their own women. We don't need your help, and you don't need ours. So I don't have anything else to say to white men on his military parade. I'm going to let God deal with him trying to act like he's equal to God, because he is not. And I will not worship anything but the one true God. And I will never, ever accept, multiple gods as my God. Okay, so he can forget it. He can hang it up. He can do whatever he needs to do. But Reverend, now I want to say one thing to you real quick about the music. And then I want to tell you something about the COVID. Oh, one more thing about Trump. With COVID and the after effects of COVID, he should not be canceling any kind of public medical assistance, because we do not yet know all the bad side effects of what they did to us with COVID. I think it was possibly a man-manufactured situation, and I don't know if it was designed to kill people on the earth, because these big dictators, they're God, and they need us dead so they don't have to take care of us, which is not what God does. God takes care of us. It doesn't matter how many people. But I want to say this about Milton Bronson. One of your listeners has mentioned Milton Bronson. His record pulled me through. There is peace in the name. In the name. That pulled me through a real bad situation when a friend of mine passed, and I love him too. And about my singing and the music, it would be "Payback is a Dog," and that's dedicated to the white man and the stylistic saying payback for the kidnapping and the rape and not taking care of our male children, and then telling the man that they're the sissies when the white men were the ones forcing us to take care of them. And Cordelia, whatever his name is, I guess he's feeling the castration that black men always feel. Whenever we get ahead, they have to castrate you some kind of way, whether it's killing you in the street with police or sending drug dealers to your community. They're gonna do what they do. They're gonna make the other men girls, and then make those girls take care of them, which will be the men. So they're kind of sick and mentally off, and that's why they use drugs, because they can't handle reality, and that's because they reject God. But my favorite also love song, other than "Payback is a Dog," that's my favorite. But my next favorite would be "Heat Wave" and "Blue Magic." They had a lot of very, very good love songs. And not to say they're my favorite, but they had a lot of very, very good love songs that I really, really like.
All right, thank you for your call. Reverend Williams, we've not heard you weigh in on Black Music Month. What are your favorite artists and favorite songs in Black music history?
Well, interestingly enough, I would, of course, like to always put the Godfather of Soul, Brother James Brown, in that. But what happened with earlier this week, I was running, and I often run the music, and a song from War came on, and then I told Apple Music to give me War Essentials, and I enjoyed it greatly, man. So I'm
what was the song?
Well, there was Cisco Kids, and then there's another one. It was just a flurry of them that were good. You're out there when you're working out, You want something that that can keep you moving.
Yeah, up tempo. Yeah.
And they had a flurry of songs that I enjoyed, and then of course Stevie Wonder is at the top of my list, of which I really appreciate his music. So those are my three artists.
I love it. No, Stevie, and you're right. I as you know, I work out about 5:15 every morning. I'm up at 4 doing my prayer and meditation. I'm in the gym by 5:15. I was a little late this morning because we didn't get back to New York till almost midnight from Chicago. But I work out to music, and I play me some Aretha. I play me some. I love to play Climbing High Mountains, Trying to Get Home by Aretha, that she did with James Cleveland live at James Cleveland's church in Los Angeles, and that gets your adrenaline flowing. I loved Yolanda Adams. When I was running for president in 2004, I ran into Yolanda Adams at Miami Airport. She was going one way, I was going another, campaigning. And I told her she made a song that I played every morning during the campaign. And it was Never Give Up. And I play that every morning now, working out, Never Give Up. And you need to, keep the dream alive as part of the lyrics, but never give up. And nobody can hit them octaves like Yolanda Adams. So they don't give her a lot of credit. I was so honored that last year she came to L.A. when Magic Johnson and Samuel Jackson had my birthday party there. And she sung that and reminded me that I had told her that in 2004. And I'll be honest with you, I had forgot I had told her that. So I started playing it again that next morning while I was working out, and I've been playing it ever since. So that's my 2 I'll give up. I'm sure I'll give up some more. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton Williams. Be right back. So that's what.
Country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell them what you told me, Brother Brown. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God smiled on me. He's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. And that has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smiled on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on we need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Clay Powell said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God has smiled on me.
And your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. And of course, we're on our National Action Network.net. You can go on live stream and send us a message. You know, 1 year I've been doing this show now, 18 years. And I remember maybe, I'm guessing, 14 years ago, I asked for the, cause I know we hadn't been on 3 or 4 years, and then I asked people in the radio audience, Rem Williams, about if they wanted to send Father's Day wish to their father, like a Friday like today. And one young lady got on the air, called in, and wanted to send a word to her father. and said they hadn't talked in years. They had had some falling out around some issue, and she didn't elaborate, but she wanted to wish him a happy Father's Day, and that whatever she did wrong, she hopes that he forgave her, and whatever she felt he did wrong to her, she forgave him. And about 20 minutes later, he called in, and we was able to put her and her father together, just because they both happened to be listening to the show. And that's one of the great stories to me of doing these 18 years. And you never know who's listening. I'm always taken aback when I travel like yesterday. People will say, I'm used to people saying I see your MSNBC show, but people listen to the radio show, and that's encouraging. Let me give these announcements and get Reverend Williams to give his. Make sure you watch Politics Nation this weekend. As I said earlier, we have an abbreviated show tomorrow, but I'll be on during the 5 o'clock hour giving commentary about this military march, as well as we all are involved in this We Have No Kings march around the country. So we have an abbreviated show tomorrow, but I'll be on between 5 and 6. And then I have a full show Sunday. And you're going to want to watch it because I'm going to dig deep into everything from L.A. to what happened on the military parade the day before and all of that. So both days, don't get spooked. We have a abbreviated show tomorrow. We have a full show on Sunday. But we will be on both days, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. You that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in the morning in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And, of course, you that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television. Impact is the only national black-owned gospel network. And you can watch us on there, or you can go to online to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and watch our live stream live for the whole rally. As well as you that are being helpful, hopeful, whatever you want to call it, about the big march on Wall Street. And I'm excited about it. We need to make that statement strong. People are marching all over the country, and they should. We need a major march around our interests, and we ain't worried about violence. We don't have violence at our marches. We have it well secured. And, in fact, we're not even going to Washington this year. We're going to New York. And I already talked to the man, and we're going to have our march secured, but our statements bold and strong. You need to help me message it. Every Friday, I drop a new message to those that have signed up online. If you have not signed up to get one of the messages that you could be talking to your friends at events over the weekend, church over the weekend, bingo, whatever it is that you do, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and sign up right now, and you'll get a message from me this evening. Rev Williams, what's going on with Detroit National Action Network?
Well, we're fired up, ready to go, signing folks up to meet us in New York as we prepare to march on Wall Street. You can sign up. We've got buses that are going to be leaving the Detroit area. You want to make sure you signed up because Rev, we've done this a million times, as you well know, and it's always the day before we get ready to take off, folks. I want to jump on. As always, folks show up. So make sure you sign up so we can account and we can have you the space available. That's tomorrow, 10 a.m. at historic King Solomon Baptist Church, 6100 14th Street, where we're going to be signing folks up. And then also we're going to be hearing from some of the elected officials who will be coming in, as well as getting our traditional reports. And I got a special movement message for you tomorrow. So I want you to join us tomorrow, 10 a.m. I want to make sure that I get the opportunity to tell my father, not Reverend Charles Williams Sr., because every time I say my name, I get the opportunity to honor him. But my father in the movement, the Reverend Alfred Charles Sharpton, who adopted me as a 19-year-old young man of fighting affirmative action, working alongside Reverend Forrest Sheffield, and saw that my interest was strong in continuing to fight for justice, invited me to be a part of the national campaign for presidency, and invited me to stay in the movement, and have had my back ever since. And I just appreciate you, Rev. I want you to know that as much as I possibly can. We don't talk every single day. I don't bother you too much. I try not to anyway, but just want you to know that I love you, man. Happy Father's Day to you. Appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, and you just never know the impact you had on my life. I'll always be saying the name of the Reverend Alfred Charles Sharpton.
Well, I appreciate that, and I really appreciate that. And I've never, like you said, I've known you since you was 19, watched you grow into being a powerful pastor and activist. And you was none of that when I met you, but you had that hunger and that anointing. Never had a day, though, I wasn't proud of you. I've had some people disappoint me. You're not among them, and we yet not know, it yet not appears what you're going to be, but you already much more than anybody thought. So I'm proud of you, and I appreciate you saying that on the air about Happy Father's Day. I am not one that shucks for, a lot of guys get older and say, no, I'm not old enough to be your father. I am old enough to be your father. So I appreciate you saying that. Let's go to the phones to the preeminent activist extraordinaire from Cleveland, Ohio, the head of the National Action Network Greater Cleveland, Ohio chapter, Dr. Marcia McCoy.
Reverend Al Sharpton, our beloved father in the movement, I must say, and happy Father's Day to you as well, our Midwest Region Director, Executive Director, to none only than the Reverend Dr. Charles Williams II or III. Anyway, August 28, 1963, the Civil Rights Movement marched on Washington for jobs and freedom. So I'm thinking about the marches where they demanded that the government pass the Civil Rights Act so that blacks had a legal right for equality, and the importance of this movement, the March and Walk on Wall Street in New York, is extremely important. Let's not forget that Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Law into law, and it banned discrimination in employment, voting, and the public use of facilities. Those of you who want to get on the bus, call us, 216-374-0913, 216-374-0913, 216-374-0913. Happy birthday to me and Reverend Dr. Bishop Cabinet. Come on, let go of the mule.
Okay, Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Charles Williams.
Yes, sir.
Hold my mule, my brother.
I got you.
My question today is, where is hypocrite Vice President J.D. Vance when this bitter, ferocious feud broke out between the richest man on the planet, Elon Musk, and the convicted felon who holds the most powerful office in the world, Donald J. Trump? It seemed that when Elon Musk departed the Trump administration, Trump retaliated by rescinding the nomination of billionaire Jared Isaacman from assuming the position of administrator of NASA, then followed by Musk's outright rejection of Trump's big, beautiful budget bill as a disgusting abomination. He said that it did not cut enough money, nor reduce the deficit to allow the rich to get richer, and cutting the money from Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid to satisfy the tycoons and billionaires. After Trump's retaliatory threats, Musk went ballistic, saying that Trump should be impeached and that J.D. Vance should become president. Among other things, Trump was unfit, he said, to lead an unsuitable office. His name was amongst the Epstein files, and that he was responsible for Trump's victory. Their feud escalated into all kinds of insults and vitriolic exchanges. Where was Vice President J.D. Vance? Silent and missing in action. Ordinarily, common courtesy and ongoing respect would demand a quick response from the Vice President, defending the President, disavowing the attack. But a stone silence. You would think that Vance would have quickly denounced the charge and risen up in defense of his sidekick. This shows you that there is no honor, no respect, no integrity between thugs, thieves, crooks, and hypocrites. Who knows how this clown show will play out? But one thing for sure is that the nation is in deep trouble when leaders do not employ the tenets of respect, decency, decorum, and dignity. The National Guard and the Marines submitted to put down a simple protest, a $45 million show of strength for narcissistic, egotistic, extravagant, convicted felons. Heaven needs to intervene, this divine intervention, and all of us must now join the National Action Network and the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. Thank you, my brother.
All right, thank you. Happy Father's Day, Reverend Bishop and E. Theophilus Cavanish. Happy Father's Day and happy birthday to you, Marcia McCoy. Let me get ready to go. Thank you, Reverend Charles Williams. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and listened in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you Monday.